actually about education, and we have many doctors and we also have professor in our speaker group. All right. Yeah, let me introduce. Welcome to Asia Pacific Proptech Summit 2022. For the newcomers, welcome back after your lunch. Hope you enjoy your lunch, and the good news that Malaysia has a new government. All right. And in this session, we are delighted to have 4 esteemed speakers to share their views and experience on the topic, closing the gap between academia and real estate ecosystem. All right, let me briefly introduce the moderator and the panelists. First, we have Dr. Matteo Bogi from United Kingdom. Wow. He is a lecturer of entrepreneurship and innovation at the Henley Business School and a member of Henley Center for Entrepreneurship. So I think this is something that we really have to listen to. And next, we have Professor Dr. Teng Yong Eng. He is the head of Henley Business School, Malaysia. He has been a professor of marketing since 2008 for several universities. And we also have Dr. Gita, a lecturer who has served as a head of legal unit, deputy dean for research and innovation, and a senior lecturer of the Faculty of Law, Multimedia University, before her recent retirement. And last but not least, again, our familiar face, we have Leo from Hong Kong, and this is his another role. He is our moderator, and he is a usual lecturer in the HKU Space and HKU Space ICB, a real estate financing and investment course series from 2016. Wow, Leo. Again, you have many things that we can learn from, okay? All right, without further ado, please welcome our speakers of the session. And I pass the floor to Leo. Leo, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Angela. So
thank you.
In front of the professors and doctors, I'm actually a student, although I'm teaching kind of real estate related courses in the university as well. I take this chance, I'm happy to chat with all of you, the panelists today, for the topic, how to close the gap between the academia and the real estate ecosystem. So because thanks, Angela, of course, briefly introduce all of you, I still would like to leave some time for each of you, maybe introduce more on in which area you're working on, say, academia, for the real estate, what kind, because real estate is such a very wide spectrum. Like me, I'm a young assistant professor teaching the real estate innovation in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So maybe, how about we start with Dr. Gita?
Sorry, Leo, I hate to stop you. Do you mind to speak louder a bit?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, thank you.
I need to come closer to you.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, thank you.
Right. So I let me repeat again, because thanks, Angel, for introducing all of you. I still would like to let you, all the panelists, briefly or introduce more on in what aspects you are in the academia for the real estate, market or the real estate sector, because it's such a wide spectrum. Like me, I'm teaching real estate innovation as an adjunct professor at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So can we start with Dr. Gita? May see if you can share with all of us more about the specialized areas you're working in the past, because you just retired, for the real estate.
Right. A very good afternoon to all. Thank you for inviting me as a panelist here. This is my 3rd time round. And yes, thank you, Leo. A little bit about myself. I started my professional career as an active litigation practitioner, advocate and solicitor, having practiced for several years, and I turned to academia. I joined Multimedia University, Faculty of Law here in Malacca, and served in various capacities for about 17 years before retiring recently. Now, I have been teaching in the areas of conveyancing, banking law and insolvency. I've authored various articles, academic articles, both locally and in international journals on these areas. And recently, I published a book on insolvency, as well as very recently on electronic evidence, admissibility and discovery, right? So actually technology law is my pet area of research, and my current area of research is actually on e-conveyancing, a dream or a possible reality. That's what I'm looking at now. Okay, I think that's enough about me.
Yeah, interesting. I think that's exactly what we just discussed in the last section. Say regulations, how the laws can help or facilitate the blockchain application and transacting a property. So probably we need Dr. Gita to give us more insights later on. So the next, how about Dr. Mateo?
A very good afternoon, everyone. It's not even morning here in the UK still. It's a very it's a real pleasure being here. So my background actually is in data science. I'm a data scientist, so I studied it in my bachelor and master degree. Then I came here to Henley for doing a PhD in management and business. And right now I'm a lecturer in entrepreneurship and innovation. So basically what I'm trying to do at the moment is to infuse entrepreneurial mindset in the real estate curriculum that we have here at Henley Business School. And because one of the topics that I've explored for my PhD thesis was about the fourth industrial revolution that is not just impacting the manufacturing sector, but also the services sector, service industry. And what I'm trying to do with like the courses that I'm also teaching here is to give an overview of the new technology to the students, but also try to have them to acquire an entrepreneurial mindset so that they can kind of combine these two subjects that I believe they are very important. There is a need for real estate professionals, for future real estate leaders, to acquire this kind of mindset. So my research at the moment is mainly related to innovation, so fourth industrial revolution, also especially the infusion of artificial intelligence in service robotics, and looking at that perspective in the tourism and hospitality sector. So, and I'm trying to bring my expertise to the students in this regard.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I think that's exactly what myself doing right now at the Chinese University of Hong Kong as well. Yes. The innovation course, I mean the real estate innovation course is probably the very first credit course about PropTech in Hong Kong at least. And somehow it's not just from the textbook, it's also important to let the students understand more about the entrepreneurship, because I think they are the future, they are the powerhouse to create or to do something new to the real estate industry. So maybe again we can check on this later on. Thank you, Dr. Mateo. How about Professor Dr. Tech? I can call you Dr. Tech. Right? Apologies, I think you need to unmute.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good day to Dr. Mateo. Good to see you from Henley Business School in the UK, here in Malaysia. So great to see each other. Thank you, first of all, thanks to the host, Dr. Gambero and Angela for introducing me, and Dr. Leo as well. Thank you, for this opportunity to share with fellow academics and also those who are doing research in the area of property and technology. My background basically is in statistics and business. So I've been working in the area of marketing, mainly on marketing analytics and looking at area of supply chain and technology. Yeah. So as far as research interest is concerned that relates to property, it's more on the application of smart technologies for properties, especially in a recent research projects is about port infrastructure. Yeah. So this is more to do with automations, as well as use of Bluetooth technology, and also to do with data, in terms of using the data to optimize operations and also to improve performance. So looking at these aspects of property as in terms of real estate, you'll be looking at data from smart properties and how this data can actually improve living standards, improve health care provisions, improve traffic management, as well as the impact on climate change, for example, water management and these areas. Basically, I'm interested in data analysis, and I teach data analytics, fintech, and blockchain.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Tech. Data is important, of course. I'm a surveyor by background. I understand it. It's not easy to get data in our industry. So thank you so much for the introduction. The question I would like to ask the next is, because I strongly believe that any tech, fintech, proptech, or health tech, we need academic support. Say some areas, definitely we need some academic research. For example, say construction tech, for example. I think we need much effort to be done on the research on, say, how can we use some new or innovative materials that is beneficial to the construction industry. And for data science, as we just mentioned as well. So can we ask, say, your opinions about if we want to do something more or better for PropTech or real estate innovation, any particular verticals you think that we need, definitely we need 100% support from the academia? Say, Dr. Gita, can you share some insights on this?
Leo, sorry. Could you just repeat that question? I really couldn't catch you.
Okay. Is that you can't hear me well, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay, maybe let me repeat the question.
Yes.
Now it's better? Better? Now it's better?
Slightly. Yeah, I'm actually straining.
Apologies.
My
I would like to ask, say, from your all points of view, I mean, what verticals in the real estate innovation that require much support from the academia? Say, we need to have a very robust research infrastructure to facilitate the development of a particular prop tech, for example, construction tech. Of course, we need engineering research. So what kind of vertical in the innovation that, say, Dr. Gita, you think that is important or we need further support from the academia?
Okay, this is actually a very, very wide area. And research is, I think, from academia is very essential in supporting industry. And as far as the real estate industry is concerned, there is a wide spectrum that you could look at. Now, coming from a legal background, I will just focus on that. From a legal background perspective itself, you have many areas that you can look at. Like I told you, my current area of research is actually e-conveyancing, which is a very, very exciting area. Now, conveyancing generally, even face-to-face physically, is really a landmine. Okay, it's a minefield fraught with a lot of risks. And in Malaysia, we've had so many cases of land scams. Right? So what more if we take it to the next level in digitizing things? Now, having said that, there have been a lot of exploratory studies done, especially during the pandemic. There are a lot of lessons to learn from that. We were looking at the possibility of digitizing signatures, e-signatures, but the Bar Council actually came down hard on that because of the security issue. As I said, in Malaysia, especially, we've got a lot of land scams. So unless you see the parties, a lawyer actually sees both the vendor and the purchaser face to face and is able to identify them, determine their identity, there is a lot of risk. So the Bar Council came down hard on that. So we are still exploring the areas. But in Australia, they have actually gone a step ahead. And from what I can see, especially in the state of Victoria, they are actually practicing e-conveyancing. So that is very, very exciting, the way they've gone into it. They have a property exchange, which is listed on the stock exchange. It's a private company, and it pools together resources. But in order to use this property exchange, you have to have the consent of both parties, both the vendor and the purchaser. So a lot of exciting things are happening. And I think this is one of the areas that academia can definitely step in. And there's a lot of scope for research in this. Okay, so maybe I'll stop here. And
yeah, thank you. How about both Dr. Matteo and Dr. Tech, because you mentioned you both work on much on data science or real estate data. Do you think now, I mean, the academic support or research enough, or would there be room for improvement, for support, say, the further development of data, real estate data innovation? Say maybe Dr. Matteo, can you go ahead first?
Thank you, Lev, for this question. And no, I mean, there's always room for improvement. Otherwise, we would not be here. We would not be researching about these topics. And I want to say hi also to Proptech there in Malaysia. But basically, building on what Proptech was saying, data is the essence. But the problem from my perspective is that translating those data into information and then knowledge. And when it comes to the verticals, I believe that the most important one is about manage and maintenance. So, but why is this the case? Because, I mean, from academic research, we can come up with more like some indexes and also some other measures and features that might be useful to come up with a better estimation of like the building and also the way that we maintain it. So if I'm thinking about the infrastructure of the way that we adopt IoT or like also the acceptance of this technology, this might be also another area, because that is one of the, as we have mentioned before and also in other sessions, one of the barriers at the moment. Consumers acceptance of this technology. So I believe that there's much room for research in these specific verticals, and the way that basically we try to embed data and also information in our like econometric models, and also in the models that to a certain extent allow the interoperability between different systems and also the different data silos. That I believe they are still there, but we need to have solutions when it comes to managing buildings and the ecosystem itself.
Yeah. So thank you. How about Dr. Tech? Any points to add on this? Because you are also in the real estate data vertical.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Yeah, I think, research in different areas of data, as well as in the real estate or prop tech, it is increasingly more and more open. When I say open, is that because data sources are quite difficult to get hold of, and they are not open for public use, and also for researchers. So quite often for researchers that would like to publish, as academics, we would like to publish our research, we need good data, just like what Dr. Matteo was saying. We need good measures. We also need proper data management. So that aspects of it can take quite a lot of time and energy in terms of focusing our effort in using big data, especially when it comes to the way that we are interested in the kind of data that's available on IoT and the kind of transactions data that are available for real estate transactions. Then we are talking about really massive amount of data. From the aspects of researchers, as far as techniques are concerned, I don't think we are limited by that. There are a lot of econometrics models that are available that we can explore. But from the perspective of users, it would be more difficult for us to inform users because most of the data is not coming from one source. We have limitations in terms of the types of data that are available. For example, some data actually falls under kind of Data Protection Act, that we can't actually use that data. And then the other question is about computing power. The computing power at certain institutions or even certain departments may not be at the scale that the commercials or even corporates that have the kind of resources to actually use that kind of computing power to analyze big data. And of course, you know, as academics and researchers, we are growing in that sense and evolving together with the innovations that come with techniques, innovations that come with using data, and also all aspects of data analysis. So I see a lot of opportunities. Positive, yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tech. The next question I would like to ask Dr. Matteo, because you're based in the UK, and all we know that from the PropTech point of view, London is definitely a very successful hub for the PropTech development in Europe or in Western countries. And just wonder if your school has any a bachelor degree or even master degree on PropTech or real estate innovation. If not, any plan for your school, for example, to have it or not? Yeah.
Thank you, Leo, for this question. So basically, we are looking at the future of Henley Business School. What we have at the moment is not a proper curriculum on PropTech, but we have a module that runs autumn term, spring term, is about managing change in the real estate sector, the one that I'm convening this year. I just started. So basically there, what we are trying to provide a broader overview of the property and in the way that technology can be used in real estate to innovate. So that's why we have, so basically entrepreneurial management as the main subject, then an overview from tech experts of specific technology. You're talking about IoT, the Web3, augmented reality, virtual reality, machine learning, and also robotics and automation. And since we want to connect this with the real context, we are having students to come up with their own project, with their own startup, their own venture and business propositions to a certain extent. And so that is their duty to combine entrepreneurship with the technology and coming up with these new ventures. So, and then also we have just had couple of weeks ago, PropTech was involved, and also Dr. Daniele Gambero, the first global Henley PropTech Forum, because we have a specific focus on PropTech, because we also believe that that is the future. And in the future, what we would like to propose to our students is like real estate entrepreneurship and technology as part of the curriculum. And also creating a bit more synergies, because I'm from a different department, with the Center for Entrepreneurship here that is part of Henley Business School, and try to create in these synergies in order to have also potentially an incubator here on campus, where we can have, we already have some students developing their own PropTech businesses, but having them to be able to, for instance, apply for funding and also government funding, or also internal funding here from the university, so that they can bring to reality, to life, their own business proposition that potentially they are developing during the course here in their undergraduate studies.
Very good, very good. That's exactly the question I would like to ask as a follow-up question, is that any support except, teaching the real estate innovation in a school or in a university, any incubation, any resources, because the universities can always leverage the resources, maybe from the government or even from the industry. So that's exactly I would like to know more about, say, from Dr. Matteo and even Dr. Tech, because you're based in Malaysia. But it seems that you're from the same school. I still would like to ask, how about in Malaysia or in Asia, any specific resources the universities or the business school can leverage or can apply or can deploy, to facilitate students to learn more about real estate in Malaysia?
Yes. Thanks for that questions. I think it's a very important development on this front because first of all, areas like PropTech and developments in PropTech and technology, as well as all areas related to fintech and blockchain, they are all kind of interrelated. And as far as university is concerned, the way we work in Malaysia, as well as in, together with our parent university based in the UK, where Matteo is, we are exploring ways to expand our scope in terms of understanding this subject area by allowing students to be exposed to experts like the Global Henley PropTech Forum that Matteo organized, I think was a few weeks ago. It was a successful event. And then the other one is to, for example, like the PropTech Malaysia Associations, who Dr. Gambero is leading these associations. And all these channels or associations that are available actually provide a platform, I would say, to give students some opportunities and also broaden their mindset in terms of the kind of developments that's going on. At the same time, we have young minds and students here that are also exploring new ideas. So as universities, we actually give them that opportunity by using the experts from the industry that exchange ideas with our students. And at the same time, we have some professionals, bodies, or even agencies, Malaysia, especially Malaysia, that support this, what we call startups and entrepreneurs that actually allow students to come up with an idea and use that idea as and develop it further through a mentoring program or to some form of coaching program. So the university is quite active as far as engaging with such agencies and also the associations that are available as well, not just in Malaysia, but also in Asia Pacific and as well as in Europe, like the one we are trying to connect here, for example.
Very good. Maybe we can, after this conversation, can also continue our conversation on this, because I'm happy to see you also working with different industry people or the PropTech associations around the world. Because nowadays, we are in basically the bearish market now. I mean, especially for real estate globally, not only particular place. I mean, the housing prices are dropping and the whole environment, the economy environment is quite bearish and quite pessimistic, I can say. So, Dr. Gita, any ideas about, say, how the academic people like you guys can do, or any opportunities can the academia, I'm not saying how, but at least to do something for this kind of a bearish real estate environment? Say anything we can prepare also for the future.
For a bearish market, I'm not really in the business school, but more from the law school. So from the legal perspective, I think what we have been doing in my university is actually going to research, interfaculty research, interrelated research, where you combine, say, legal with the business school or with engineering and things like that. But so I'm not able to answer your question specifically, but I could just mention that research capabilities would help. One of the areas to help in this kind of a market would be to look at affordable housing and also home financing for home buyers. And I think the Malaysian government has been holding a lot of property fairs where developers have registered. And basically, the target for this was the unsold houses, right? So the spillover from that, developers were encouraged to offer discounts and a lot of freebies to come with it in the hope of selling off so that to overcome the property glut. So these were the proactive measures that were taken by the government. So I think that is about all that I can help out here, share with my limited knowledge, because it's not really my area. Thank you.
No problem. I think Dr. Gita, I think what you're doing on your area is great because you're working on the e-conveyancing. Because I strongly believe that if the conveyancing process can be done better by, say, some technology that can somehow minimize also the transaction cost for the real estate. And that may help, especially during the bearish market like now. I mean, what you mentioned, affordable housing, or how to facilitate or streamline the transaction, that would anyway will help. I strongly believe. So that's great. And the next is I would like to ask Dr. Mateo or even Dr. Tech about because I think you too work also closely with the industry. So somehow it's always for the industry people ask for help or assistance from the academic people. How about vice versa? Any advice you can give to the industry people, including the traditional real estate people and also the PropTech, say companies, founders? Any advice from academia, I mean, from your points of view, can be given to them? Maybe Dr. Mateo?
All right. So in terms of the advice, what we have seen also in the last forum that we have all here, Henley. So basically, I believe that the future of PropTech is also sustainable to a certain extent. And then I believe that the advice I will give to the industry is first, to look at sustainability as one of the key measures. When it might be the evaluation of a new property, might also be about planning. We talk about contact, but also to be a bit more involved with us as academic partnership. So also this session is about bridging the gap with academia, so that we can create that kind of synergy, so that also what we teach at the university is really forming and nurturing the future leaders in terms of the students that are in here. Because I believe that having those kind of conversation for the student is very important, but also for us to understand what is going on in the industry, at the same time having industry people to represent their business and then basically the current climate in real estate to our classes. That will be very important, having might be these kind of global events or also summits that we also hold for our students. And so this might be my advice, so to have a stronger relationship with the university and also the ecosystem to a certain extent, so that we can grow together.
Very good. How about Dr. Tech? Any things to add on?
Just to build on what Dr. Matthews says, I mean, yes, I agree with all those points mentioned. It's very important for us to build good relationship with industry captains and those who are really active in the PropTech, and as well as interested in graduates with knowledge about technology as well as data analytics and PropTech. So my advice to people in the industry is to start somewhere, is to start small in terms of how they actually transform their organizations from the old ways of doing things to adopt technologies. They don't have to all of a sudden, adopt the digital, all the digital technologies. Because when you look at the big picture, actually this is something what Dr. Matthew says about sustainability. We are talking about financial sustainability as well, because for organizations and corporates, when they invest in technologies, they are concerned about return on investment. those return on investment, the first questions that come to mind, of course, how do you actually use that technology? And for example, the time you spend on data collections and all this data analysis, does it actually, transpire, become something that is adding value to your stakeholders? So we are interested to work with corporates as universities to actually develop the good relationships and understand each other in terms of their needs. And we are also here in terms of working with them and sharing and exchanging ideas in terms of how our curriculum and our students could actually respond to the demands and challenges in the industry.
Very good. Yeah, how about Dr. Gita? Because I think we're running out of time. Let's properly close the section, or maybe if there are any Q&As, of course, we can answer the questions. So the last question I ask Dr. Gita, because the topic of this section is about closing the gap between the real estate and academia. I know that what you're working on now is closely related to the industry. So any idea, any opinion that you think we can work more on closing the gap? Yeah, because I don't want the result as like e-conveyancing is just on research paper, but all of us, I mean, for all the people in the industry, we need the application. So how to close the gap?
Right. Yes, definitely. E-conveyancing is not only about research papers. Like my fellow panelists has mentioned, we do have a lot of connection with industry. We do have, in fact, this session is also shared with my colleagues. And if their classes are not clashing, I'm very sure they would be attending this because they are very, very interested. Our students would be attending this. So we have regular industry speakers who come to encourage the students to share what's happening. And our students also go out on internships to industry, not just to legal firms, but also outside the legal field to understand what is happening out there. So in order to provide real solutions to real problems, I think that is where the university comes in, the research comes in. So understanding the practical problems of the industry, I think that is how you help to bridge the gap. Thank you.
Thank you so much. How about any last word that will be given by Dr. Mateo? Yeah, how to close the gap.
Sure, Leo. So thinking about closing the gap, I believe that we need to create this virtual cycle that between academia and industry. And I believe that an incubator, so the Center for Entrepreneurship, might be the right one to bridge this specific gap, because what I believe, and also what I in my students at the very end of our course, is that they are the future of real estate, but they need to be entrepreneurial. So creative, resourceful, innovative, and also adaptable, because this will be very important in all their aspects of their life and their career path. So this will be my lasting message.
How about Dr. Tap?
My last point I want to emphasize where my passion is for companies to actually look at their data in terms of curating their data, and also invest in data analysis in terms of the expertise, and to make full use of the available open source programs, not just from proprietors, but there are many open source programs that are available for data scientists. And these programs are actually free, and they're more powerful than those programs that are being developed by proprietors, software companies. So I'll encourage, fellow researchers, companies, and young people out there to explore their data that are available in their company, actually make use of it in order to make a decision where, based on evidence. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. So before closing, I would like to take this chance to maybe invite you all next year to join the conference that organized by Asian Real Estate Society. I'm not sure whether you are in that. because I think that's on the academic society that is having a conference with the Chinese University of Hong Kong. So in that conference, we will actually trying to close the gap between the industry people and also the academia. So anyway, I will stay in touch with all of you, and thank you so much for sharing the insights in this section. So I pass the time to Angela for the next. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you, Leo. You are short on time. Thank you so much for speakers from different part of the world, different time zone. This is what technology about. It brings all of us together from different corner, different time zone. Thank you, Dr. Matthew. Especially your time is very, very early there, and we are actually middle the afternoon. It's great to hear from you. I think we need to proceed to next session. We shall meet again. All right. Thank you, speakers. Bye.